Good morning, family. So, the video you are about to see is showing one of my great friends, Alesia, and she's giving us her testimony on her walk with Christ. She is a PK. Excuse me, she is a PK. She just talks about the free will, the resentment, almost being human trafficked in Ghana, right? After a horrible trip off of smoking some weed. But I just want this to truly show you that we all have a journey. But as soon as we give God, Lord Jesus, our yes, He can do all things. All right, I love you all, and let's get into the video.
My journey to Christ is, it's a little different. So I'm a PK, preacher's kid, pastor's kid, however you want to call it. And so I've been in church like all my life. There's a saying that I say that I don't know if I made it up or whatever, but I just say, like, if my mom could have given birth to me in church, I'm pretty sure she would have.
Absolutely.
That's just like how ingrained church was into us and into my family and her children. And so I grew up around church all the time, but I think that from like a very early age, I felt like this resentment because I'd always felt like that was the choice that she made. And I didn't feel like I was given a choice. You know what I mean? So I feel like I had always had this like, oh no, like I don't really want to be in church like that. Like I'll be around, and I sometimes enjoy the people that are there or the music or whatever. But like my life, I don't think that I want to commit, you know? So I know that was like kind of one of the rooting emotions surrounding church and God and Christ in general. And so I think that kind of like framed every aspect of my life, like this resentment and wanting to have a choice and wanting to do things on my own. And it didn't help that people would always say, oh, you're going to be just like your mom. Like, she's so powerful, and I can see you being exactly like her. And I felt like everything in me wanted to rebel against that.
Absolutely.
Like, I am me. Like, I'm not my mother. My mom is my mom. I'm Alesia. There's no one else who I can be, you know? And I even got the nickname, because my mom's name is Bessie, so I even got the nickname Little Bessie all the time. And literally every time somebody said it, and it didn't matter if it was like an adult or someone else, I would say, my name's Alesia. And
have your own identity.
I do, right? And so I think that in addition to that, and like just wanting to have my own say in something, I like kind of tried to dabble into a lot of things. I wasn't as out there as some of the people that I knew, because it just seemed like everything that I tried, it never worked for me, you know? So like people would be able to go out and drink and party and just get into all kinds of stuff. And when I tried it, something went wrong. Like, I'm getting in trouble, somebody else getting in trouble. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try and do my own thing over here a little bit, but I'm not going to go too far because it don't seem like it ever works for me anyway. But I did for the longest time try to ignore the call and not like try to, commit. And so I think that I found solace in expressing myself in various different ways. And that was fashion for the most part as a kid. And it wasn't really, I really shouldn't say that it was fashion. It was just putting on whatever I wanted to put on.
Fashion.
And
that's what fashion, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what people fail to realize, like, style.
But I'm going to show you. Keep going. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you
but
what
but style is more so, it's innate. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah. No. I feel like I agree with that. I just think that I think that I did a lot of things just to, look different. You know?
Be set apart.
Yeah, stand out in some kind of way. Yeah. And little did I know, like, that's exactly what God is calling us
set apart.
To.
That's when you start like,
yeah, that's exactly what God is calling us to do. But like sometimes it just gets.
It's a burden.
It's
a
so
blessing and a
difficult
burden.
to try and be that all the time. To always be set apart. Sometimes you just want to fit in. You know what I mean? You just want to fade into the background, not have anybody see you, not have anybody know who you're in, not have anybody like say anything to you about you, whatever the case may be. I can't think right now, but I'll show you later.
It's
so
powerful.
yeah. So I feel like God had always done that, and for me, and allowed me to have that expression. And I'm so thankful for my mom, because although like that was her journey and she did accept Christ and she did accept the call in her life to be a pastor and everything like that, she didn't ever force that onto us. Like it was never like, oh, you gotta do this and you gotta act like this and you gotta dress like this and you gotta do this and you do
just
that.
all the choice.
I think that it was for her, it was like, I'm giving you an example and this is how I would like for you to be reared up.
I love that.
And, you know, even if we chose not to do certain things. Now, let me be clear. My mama was not no pushover.
I already know that.
She was not no pushover. She was not allowing us to just be out there and do everything. But there was a certain grace that she allowed for us, because she did know that that's what her life was. And we didn't necessarily agree to that, right? So, anyway, that came in the form of fashion. That came in the form of, like, whatever kind of hairstyle that I wanted to wear. And that also came in the form of like having certain friends and doing certain things. And so I found like my kryptonite, I want to say, in like middle school when I started smoking weed, and like
I started being exposed to it. Yeah.
So I was first exposed by some other friends, and for a long time I was too scared to do it, but I wanted to be around them while they were doing it. And so I'm grateful for them, because they were just like, okay, well, you don't want to do it, that's fine, you can still like hang out, and they never like forced it on me. It wasn't until high school where I was hanging around with some of those same people and other friends that I had met in high school that, you know, I didn't know before, and those friends that I hadn't known before, they didn't really know me, didn't really know that I didn't really want to do it, and so they were just like, oh, you sure you don't want to, like, you know, they invited me. Right? Whereas my friends a long time ago, they stopped inviting me, so I didn't really have the incentive to be like, oh, let me try. And so they invited me, so I did that. That's where it started. And I did that for a few months until, like, I want to say like the last day of my freshman year of high school. For whatever reason, I had like a really bad trip, and I had to be hospitalized basically, and I don't know what was the situation, and we can talk about that a bit more later, but the feeling that I felt in high school is a similar feeling that I felt later on in life, and I can't really say for sure what happened, but I just know that I was deathly embarrassed, because at school I had to have the ambulance called so they can take me to the hospital. But you know, when they call the ambulance, they call the police, they call the fire department.
They call everybody.
They call everybody. So like literally outside of my school, there's 5 police cars, 1 ambulance, 2 fire trucks, all for me. And I'm like, I feel like if this ain't a sign that God from God, like you shouldn't be doing this, then I don't know what is. But
he said you got a different anointing. You got a different anointing.
Yeah, so
we're gonna run till we can't.
Yeah. So it didn't really stop. I stopped doing it as much, but I never really like stopped doing it. Yeah, stopped doing it. So I think all throughout high school, I was in a relationship with somebody who, like you said, it wasn't like he was a bad person. It wasn't like I was a bad person. We just didn't know ourselves.
Yeah.
And we try and get into a relationship when we don't even know ourselves, and how you're supposed to be in a relationship. It doesn't make any sense. And so we were together off and on for at least 3 years, so that was the majority of high school. And then it did off and on again up until like my 3rd year of college. So maybe like 6 years at this point. And he was a really good person, I would say. I think that he really did. Hi. Ain't no soap. It's fresh. Yeah, he was a good person. I don't think that he really I think that he really did love me to the best of his ability. And I will give him that because I don't think that he ever tried to intentionally harm me. But when you're broken, you don't know how to treat other people. So our relationship was pretty much toxic. He relied on me for emotional support. I relied on him.
It feels safe, right? It makes sense.
It was a very safe type of thing. So that it wasn't just, we were emotional support. There was intimacy involved, like we were having sex, we were smoking together. Like it was just a bad.
It was in their lifestyle.
It was just a bad, situation. And so there's all of that going on in the background, plus me not really wanting to be in church because I don't really want to have that associated with me.
Right.
And all kinds of things like that. And I think that after some time, I did get tired, but I didn't know what commitment to Christ looks like, for me. Because I knew, and I had told God this some time back, where I was like, I don't because growing up in church, you see everything. And especially being a PK, you see everything. You see how people treat your parents. You see how, people treat each other. Like, you just see everything. And you have, a different view. And so I had always said, I don't want to grow up and be like these people who say that they're Christian and then
turn right around
on the street and they act in a completely different way. I said, if I'm going to be in, I'm in 100%. If I'm going to be out, I'm going to be out 100%.
Come on, somebody.
There should be no confusion. When you look at me, you already know where I'm at. You know what I mean? Because I never wanted that. I had always saw it and I was like, that's hypocritical. I don't want to be that. So, if I'm in, I'm in. If I'm out, I'm out. And so I was like, I don't really know what that looks like because if I'm getting tired over here, that means I gotta fully commit over here, and I'm not done.
Doing what I'm doing.
Not done
yeah, let me live. Girl, listen. Years.
So I was just like, I know that I got tired at some point, but I just wasn't really ready to give up the comfort or whatever it was that was on the other side.
The flesh.
Yeah.
Living in the flesh.
Yeah.
Nothing in spirit.
And so that went on for years of constantly being in turmoil. And I also should mention that my biological father, my mom and him had a good relationship, but for whatever reason, they ended up breaking up. I shouldn't say for whatever reason. They broke up because he was Catholic, she was Christian. And at the time, she was just like, this doesn't work out for me. And so he was a really good guy, according to her. He even proposed and he was willing and ready to go to church with her and be there. But she was a radical Christian at the time. And so she was like, no. So they had ended up breaking up. My mom had gotten remarried to somebody when I was 4 when we came up here. And then I had been in a blended family they were together 9 years. But throughout those 9 years, I never felt like that side of the family accepted me. And they were actually very open and vocal about how they didn't like me and they didn't like my mom and, all kinds of nasty, hateful things that you shouldn't say to somebody who's a kid. You shouldn't say to somebody at all, but especially
as a kid.
And so
they had demons they would fight.
Yeah. And so I don't feel safe personally in my personal life. I don't feel safe at church. I don't feel safe at home. The only safe that I feel is with this dude that I'm with.
Absolutely.
But I'm getting tired of all of it. So there's all of that. All of that boiling.
I'm ready to be done.
And I think that my ex and I had gone on so many on and off spouts that I just it became too much, and I finally was like, you know what? I think I'm done with this.
Yep.
I thought I was. Then I went to college and, had my little fun or whatever, drinking, partying. And I should also mention that I think that God did this on purpose because I don't know what it is about alcohol for me, but it doesn't do anything to me. I had been at parties where I'm taking back multiple shots. I'm talking like 5-6 shots,
Wow.
both light
Oh,
and
no,
dark.
I'm a lightweight, babe. I be black. Help me.
Both light and dark, and I'm just sitting
Mix
there
it.
like normal. Like
Mix
I'm just like, okay, why don't I feel nothing? Y'all out here having a great time, and this is what I mean by like nothing that I ever tried to do worked for me.
Yeah, the anointing over your life.
The only thing that did work was, you know, smoking weed. And so when I wasn't, you know, trying to get drunk, I was smoking.
So you couldn't get drunk at all?
No. And still to this day, I will have a drink every now and then, and I'm not a drinker at all. Like the last time I had a drink was literally in January, and before that was like a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't.
That's not your thing either.
No, I don't. It just tastes nasty anyways. I'm like,
It ain't worth it. Like, and let me tell you, let me be frank now. You know, turn water to wine. I may do some red, but right now I'm just
there's
kind
nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Everybody has different convictions. You know what I mean?
but it's more so what you do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long as I'm not, you know, so let me just be clear. So yeah, right now I'm just, that ain't my focus. But if I'm out, because I already had put myself on a limit anyway, too, done. But then, you know, you get the then they get you, and I'm like, see, I'm a lightweight. Off some white wine, I can't do it. But yes, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. And I started to rely more and more because I was tired of everything else, including the relationship that I was in. I started to rely more and more on the weed. And I did edibles, like you said. I only took a little piece, and I mean, and I realized that I didn't really like the way that made me feel. I remember one time in high school, I had took a little piece. I promise it wasn't even a lot. And you know, the things take a long time to hit.
They do.
And so you just sitting there for like an hour, like, okay.
By the time they do, you like, oh.
And so it finally hit me when I was on my way home from school, and I kid you not, like I was walking, but everything was like this way, and I'm like, what is happening? Like I'm trying to walk normally, and I promise you, I promise I looked like somebody like was on crack when I was trying to walk home from school because
That
I'm
ain't
just
what
like,
you feel like, and then you get,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I just after that experience, I was like, I can't do this no more. So I didn't really do that as much, but I did somehow, some way, end up finding friends who were able to have access to weed, and they would, you know, help me get it. And so, like I said, I had realized that was like becoming a coping mechanism for me. So I couldn't be awake and not have smoked. So when I'm waking up, I'm smoking.
It was a party now.
Yeah, right before I needed a meal, I'm smoking. Right after that meal, I'm smoking.
Like water.
Yeah, when I'm studying, I'm smoking. Like I needed that to be a part of me. And I started not even to like myself when I wasn't high. You know, she wasn't as fun. She was more like in her shell. She didn't really like, you know, go out as much.
You think so much.
Yeah,
Be convicted rather than not.
Yeah. So I'm just like, yeah, we just gonna keep doing.
Because now at this point, she trying to make me see things I ain't ready to see, bro. Let me just go. I'm telling you, 25, 25 in public, alone. You, girl.
Yeah. So that was starting to become like my reality. And I had a roommate at the time who we're still cool when I was in college, but she's not safe. She's one of those people where I was like, I have a lot of friends married.
Yeah.
She's one of those ones that I still talk to, and she knows what I believe now, and I know where she's at, but I don't judge her for where she's at. And I'm still there to be like,
right,
you know.
Like,
so yeah. So
come on.
But I remember. She didn't used to smoke at all, so I had convinced her to do it on so many occasions. So that was different. Yeah. I'm not proud of that, but I don't regret it because God has a plan for everything.
Everything. That's it.
So yeah, we would do that together for the most part in college, all the time. And I think I just got to a really like low point because I had realized what smoking so often did to me. I was so small, and I'm a little small right now. This is actually the heaviest that I've ever been.
Really?
Yeah, and it's my goal, or at least it was like 6 months ago, to try and gain weight. So like I'm on this journey, and it's so hard for me because everybody in my family has a really like fast metabolism, and either really small or used to be small, and they like
really big.
Yeah. So it's like one of the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But mostly from my mom's side, like everybody's pretty small. So it's almost like breaking your genetics or something to try and gain weight. And it's been
like re-engineering.
Yeah, it's been a difficult journey. But like when I was in college, because you aren't like 25 or nothing yet. So like your metabolism doesn't slow down yet. So you're already usually smaller than whatever.
Already. Yeah.
Right. But because I was smoking so often, I was probably at like 90 pounds. And like that was my weight the entire time.
90 pounds?
90 pounds. In college. And I because it was really bad. Like I was starting to look like, and I think that this is why I have a heart, for people who smoke religiously, because that's where I used to be. But I definitely think that it's a spirit, because people who smoke religiously all look the same.
They drink.
They all look exactly the same. So I'm like, there's no way that that's not anything other than a spirit, because it manifests itself the same way in every single person. But I had started to look like I was on something more than me. Like, so I started to get really small because I wasn't eating as much. I would get acne, my hair was falling out. Like it was just. It wasn't a good time, but I'm still trying to hold on to whatever autonomy that I think that I have,
right. That I'm yearning for, that it's not of God at all.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit, I had gotten out of my relationship with my ex for like the second to the last time.
We all go through that year. I was 8 years in.
Second to the last time, and I was just like, you know what? I think I was trying to find a way to escape the life that I was living, and I think in a way,
absolutely,
I was trying to find something else. So I was just like, I'm gonna study abroad. There was nothing in my head that was like, oh, studying abroad would be great for like your career or your education. I just wanted to get away, honestly. I think that was what was
to detach. Solitude.
Yeah, and so I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know how I'm gonna get there. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know who I'm gonna go with. I don't know how I'm gonna afford it. But I'm gonna go to this like international office and figure out how I can study abroad. So I did that, got accepted, and before I knew it, like I was legit on a plane, like 7,000 miles away. No, to Ghana.
Ghana.
Yeah.
Why you Guatemala? Your friend Guatemala.
No, she's in Brazil, but it's still Latin America.
But now, next to Ghana, I don't know where Guatemala is.
No, it's okay. So even further though, because Guatemala is relatively close, but Ghana is like
gone.
In like all the way gone. And so before I knew it, I was on a plane to.
Do you feel like that was something that was part of saving your life?
100%. And I'll get into that too. But so I had broken up with my ex, got on a plane. We had decided that we were still kind of something maybe. And so while I was there, I was trying to figure out how to juggle like being in a relationship with him and it being 7 hours ahead. So when I'm waking up, he's about to go to sleep. When he's waking up or going to sleep or whatever, it was vice versa. So it was difficult. It was difficult. And he was
his soul side.
Yep. And he was like, if toxic could be a thing, it was him, and I don't think that he did it on purpose.
Was he narcissistic?
I think it was a little bit of that, and I think that it was also just in general him like not being confident in himself. And who he was. And so I think that he just had a lack of confidence.
Absolutely.
And I think that during our first breakup, the reason why we broke up in the first place is because he does music and stuff. He's gifted. very gifted. He used to do praise and worship in church. Very gifted. He used to do praise and worship in church, and he also can really play any instrument. Like if you let him hear, if you let him hear it one time, he'll probably be able to. Yeah. And so he was very gifted in that way. He went to like some church camp, and he says when he came back, he was just like, there was this girl that was out there, and she was very confident in herself. She knew exactly what she wanted out of life, and it just made me like attracted to her, or whatever. So I don't know that we could be whatever.
At least he was being honest.
He was honest, but I don't think he was all the way honest because I asked him. I was just like, so what else happened?
You feel it.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't, but he was honest enough to let you know it ain't gonna be on me if she don't do what she gotta do.
Yeah, so he never really told me, but he would always bring up some kind of like, oh, I'm afraid that you're gonna do what I did to you, back to you.
You probably still doing it.
And so I was just like, it doesn't make any sense. You said you didn't do anything, so what am I going to do back to you?
Yeah, we telling themselves, we be knowing.
Yeah, so anyway, he just had this lack of confidence in himself, and because of, I guess, whatever it was that he did that he didn't tell me about, it was always like in his head. And so there was one time when I was young, I fell in love with like taking dance classes and like moving my body and like, all of that stuff. And I was talking to him about like how much I enjoyed it and like how it was making me feel and like all of this stuff and whatever, and he gonna hit me with so send me a picture of the dudes in your dance class.
Don't be trying to micromanage speakers. You out here doing what you doing. Nah, you're not doing that.
And that was the last time. I was just like, I think it was being so far away that allowed me to really see with a clarity how foolish how foolish it was. And I'm like, did you really just ask me that? And so anyway, after that, I was just like, yeah, no, this is not gonna work. And I ended it for the last time in September 2017. But I had so much that was still attached to me within the other stuff that I had been going through that I hadn't really fully healed. And I think that for the first time in my life, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna live my life because now I'm 7,000 miles away from home.
So they like
don't nobody know me
yeah.
out here. I could present an entirely different version
God
of
knows
myself.
you.
Right. So I was out there doing what I wanted to do, sleeping with who I wanted to sleep with, drinking what I wanted to drink, partying where I wanted to party, smoking what I wanted to smoke, and I ended up, being in the same
spirit.
And what got me out of smoking for the last time, and I have not touched it since then, and this was November 2017.
Okay.
Was there was a group of people that I had ended up being friends with in Ghana, where we would just smoke all the time. How do you find these people all the way across the world? I don't know. But spirits attract spirits.
Absolutely.
And so we all just find each other. Because I don't know how to be 7,000 miles away from home and still be doing the same exact thing.
It's still on you.
So,
ooh,
I have these friends that I would hang with.
I have these friends.
And still to this day, I can't figure out if it was a bad trip or if it was intentional. But like I said, the feeling that I felt
in high school at that time.
Yes, was the same exact feeling.
Hi, sorry, I'm just checking.
No, you're good. You're
good. The feeling that I had felt in high school was the same exact feeling that I had felt when it happened in Ghana, and it was basically just like I can't describe it other than that's never happened before. Like I'm trying to tell you, like I was smoking every single day for literally everything. I was smoking all kinds of different strands from different places.
Wow.
So I was a veteran.
You know what I mean? Did you wrap it in wax and all that when they would dip it?
No, I would just it was just regular because I don't trust people. You know what I mean? After what happened in high school, I'm like I would do my own stuff. Like you can go get it from me.
Okay.
I'm inspecting it and I'm making sure that I wrap it. I don't want y'all touching it. You know what I mean? So
because it could have went further because the fentanyl thing and
exactly. So I think that was kind of what ended up happening. It was laced with something when I was in Ghana. And I just remember, feeling so overwhelmed. There were two occasions. The first occasion was feeling so overwhelmed with like everything that was going on. And I don't know how it happened, but I would just, there was a time where I was high and I would just hear screaming. And I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about like somebody to the top of their lungs screaming. And I'm like, y'all hear that?
Yes.
Nobody hear that? It's just me that hear that. Okay.
It's like the spirit's like, we getting closer to you because you're not listening. That's how it felt for me. I was like, I ain't never been here before.
Yeah. And so I had that
they gave me chills.
Yeah, that went on for the entire hike. When I tell you that it was not fun, it wasn't fun. Like I was just like, this is, because all I'm hearing is somebody screaming. It didn't matter where I went. Didn't matter if I was in like, because I tried to be around people that were like loud so that I wouldn't hear it, but I'm still hearing it.
So now I see why you responded the way you responded when I said somebody told me to come back, because you know.
I know, girl.
Okay, I'm not crazy.
No,
I was
crazy.
like,
No, you're not crazy. No,
okay.
you're not crazy. And it was only until recently that God had to show me that it wasn't anybody screaming, it was me.
Yeah.
Because
the
he
shadow
tried to show me,
yeah.
He tried to show me that, like, you know, you out here pretending for everybody, when inside you are internally screaming.
Soul is dying.
Something, you know,
dying.
Something is
soul is dying.
Everything right like that, you know? And that wasn't until just recently. So I had gone like maybe 4 or 5 years without knowing whatever that was, just thinking that it was.
But he finally, because you weren't ready for it. It was so beautiful, like you said. You'll see how God, he gives you a hint of what you weren't ready for again. Because if he would have told you that, you would, he still wouldn't have been like, he would have like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So it was recently that he was like, look.
Yeah, it was probably like a year ago. It was like, okay.
So when it happened, like, how did you feel?
When it happened, I was scared. I promise you, I was scared. I was all like, I don't know if I want to touch this. Because if that's what's gonna happen every single time.
God said you get too close to the fire, baby girl. So when he told you that it was actually you screaming, how did that make you feel?
I feel like it made more sense because what I was going through at the time, it was like I was trying in so many ways to like, because remember I said I was out there sleeping whoever I want to sleep with,
absolutely,
around people who I want to be around, all that stuff. It was like I was trying to find anything to appease what was missing in me, and that was
void.
Yeah, but the only thing that could fill that was, you know, God Himself, right? And so it made sense. And I'm like, dang, that makes so much sense. Why I was unhappy and why I couldn't figure out what my life was like. Why nothing ever seemed to work for me. You know what I mean? So it made sense. Yeah. So that was like the first experience that I had. That was like, I think I need to
get up out of here.
I ended up doing it a couple more times, and I didn't hear no screaming. I was like, all right, cool, we good. And there was another time where this was the last time where we had ended up smoking on the balcony.
Was this still in Ghana?
Okay. We had ended up smoking. Okay. She wanted me to go in here. She's trying to block me, so I don't know whatever the heck this is. Later on, I'm able to escape by just like running. I'm talking like for my life running through the woods. Again, didn't know where I was going. The only thing that's on my mind is like, do you hear the cars? I was almost sex trafficked while I was in Ghana, and that was the last time that I had ever touched weed again. And I was just like, this is the end. Like, there have been way too many times where when my mom found out about it, she was like, no, absolutely not. You have to come home. Like, I don't know what is going on with you. I don't know who is there. Like, something could happen to you, and I would have never even known. You know what I mean? Like, anything. It would have been, you know, a week, 2 weeks, whatever.
If anything.
You know, like all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, and this was the first time that I heard God speak to me audibly, where He was like, why do you put your trust in everybody but me? And for 7 days, and this don't work. I'm going out there and I'm looking like, I don't want to hear nothing about you or anything like that again.
And it doesn't sound, I'm sorry to put y'all, but it doesn't sound true because that's all He asked for you to do. Trust Him.
And for whatever reason, I found myself, we had finished smoking, they left, went back to their personal like dorms or whatever. And then for whatever reason, I found myself feeling like somebody was following me. And so I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I gotta get up out of here. So I'm in Ghana. Don't know the place entirely. You know what I mean? You know,
Exactly.
out here, you know,
Where
where
it
to
makes
go,
sense
how to
of
go,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
everything like that. But I didn't know where I was going. I'm just walking. I'm just, because somebody is following me, so I gotta.
So you were in your dorm.
I was in my dorm at
It
first.
felt like somebody was there with you.
It felt like somebody was in my dorm with me.
And they
And
beat
so-
them spirits.
Yeah, so I was like, I gotta get up out of here. So I left the actual building of my dorm and was out walking on the streets. And
You had clothes on?
Yes.
Okay.
The university that I was with, the University of Ghana, it's like in the middle of a forest. So anywhere you want to go, you gotta walk there because they don't really do cars like that.
Right.
They don't really do cars. They have some, but like most people
They're
only
right,
use
though,
them
yeah.
for they only use them for like taxis or something like that. Most people use the busing system or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is just like taxis. But so yeah, so I'm out there by myself, and like I said, it's in the middle of the forest, and so I don't know where I'm going, but I know that I need to get away from whoever is following me. Because at this point, I left from my building. I still feel it, like somebody's there. So I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I just have to get somewhere where I'm safe or whatever. So I ended up going to this person's house who was in the woods, and that's pretty common because back in the day, that's where people used to live, and they still kind of like abide by some of those traditions in Ghana. And so it wasn't uncommon for me to see someone's house in the woods, but it was uncommon for them to just be around. I was and so I'm walking, and I see her, and at this point I'm like getting frantic because I'm like, I've been walking for a long time. They still, like, whoever it is, whatever it is still following me. So I'm like, I need to find somebody so they can hide me or whatever. So I come across this lady's house in the woods, and I'm like, you gotta help me. I don't know what to do, but like somebody's following me, and I just can you just hide me or whatever. She's like, yes, sure. And she didn't really like recognize it at the time, but she was like guiding me by my elbow. We were walking side by side. She's holding on to the back of my arm by my elbow, and she's gripping me kind of tight. I'm like, all right, whatever, it's fine. I just need to get wherever she's gonna take me. She opens this cell-looking thing, and it has a bed in there. That you ever see those trap beds and look exactly
That's
like
what
that,
I'm like.
with the stains and stuff on the bed. There was literally looked like a cell. It had the bars and everything. There was a lock on there, and it looked like somebody's clothes had been in there. Like it just looked like it'd been used. You know what I mean? And she was just like, "You can hide it here," and I'm like, a part of me was like, maybe that would be okay because I'm trying to get away from whatever it is that this is, but also the other part of me that's not high feels like this isn't safe. This isn't a good idea. And so I'm just like, no, it's okay. I'm just, whatever it is, I'm just go back to my dorm, and I'm just gonna deal with it there, maybe I'm taking that to the shower or something. And she was just like, no, like, and at this point, like she's gripping on to me. She's like, no, you're going in here. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Like I appreciate you for trying to hide me, but it's okay. And I end up like being able to get out from her grip, and she's an older lady, like I'm talking like 65 or whatever, and she's like got a strong grip. And so I didn't want to be rude because she's technically an elder and whatever, and I'm not from there, so I'm like, no, it's okay. I ended up getting out of her grip. And when I go to turn around, there's another person that's like blocking me from being able to exit. So I'm like, okay, she want me to go in here. She's trying to block me, so I don't know whatever the heck this is. Later on, I'm able to escape by just like running. I'm talking like for my life running through the woods. Again, didn't know where I was going. The only thing that's on my mind is like, do you hear the cars? Yes, you can hear the cars. Run towards the cars because that's where the streets are. And so I end up getting towards the streets. Somebody on like the busing taxi system ends up seeing me and tells the taxi man to like wait and to come They ended up taking me to this Catholic church, and at the Catholic church, they ended up telling me
The
like,
irony of it.
yeah, they were just like, that is a well-known like trafficking site.
That's what it sounded like.
And so he was just like, I don't know how you got over there, but I'm very thankful that you did. And so basically, I was almost sex trafficked while I was in Ghana, and that was the last time that I had ever touched weed again. Because I was just like, this is it. Like, there have been way too many times where this has gone badly. Whatever it is that I think is bringing me some kind of like hope or whatever it is, peace, coping, whatever that comes with it. I can't do it, you know? So that was that, and that kind of started my journey towards Christ, of seeing things a little bit differently. I was still in Ghana though for like a few more months, and when my mom found out about it, she was like, no, absolutely not, you have to come home. Like, I don't know what is going on with you, I don't know who is there, like something could happen to you, and I would have never even known. You know what I mean? Like, anything. It would have been, you know, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. If anything. And I wouldn't have been able to contact you. Like, so she was just like, my nerves can't, like, you have to come home. And the only thing that I could tell her, and I don't know how I was able to tell her this, but like, I was just, at the time, I was just like, I have to finish what I started. And the only thing that was in my mind about that was like, well, you said you would commit to a year of being here, so commit to a year of being here. But I think it was deeper than that. And God was like, I'm still like doing the work in you, and I need you to remain here in order for me to finish it.
I need you to get it out. So when you come back, I need you to come back.
Yeah. So all of that happened.
I'm so happy you know.
Me too.
Oh, thank you, Lord.
So all of that happened. I ended up coming back, and I think this is where like I actually vocalized that I was tired, and I was just like, God, you got me doing, like, you just got me in this life. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know like what the purpose is for me existing here. But I just feel like you're against me. Like, I'm just like, everything that I've tried to do doesn't work. Everybody tries to put me into like this box of like, this is who you're gonna be, without me ever even having a conversation with God about what my life is gonna look like. And then to make matters worse, like the family that he placed me in doesn't like me. This relationship that I was in was terrible. My dad left, you know, like all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, and this was the first time that I heard God speak to me audibly, where he was like, why do you put your trust in everybody but me? And I was just like, anyway, so you just got me out.
It be the anyway, and God's like, because he is generous. He's like, hey, look, come at me, bro.
So I just kept getting in my mind, and I'm like, I don't care about none of that.
He wants that.
And then this was the first time I had felt peace, like, ever. And he just kept saying, like, trust me, trust me.
Yep.
Trust me.
Yep.
And that like put me to sleep. I've never experienced anything like that before, where I was just like, you know, God was speaking to me, and I felt so calm.
He snatched it out
of
you.
Where I was just like,
he was like,
all right, I can go to bed now, you know? That was the first time that I heard God speak to me. That was like July. When I had come back, July 2019. August, I found out, this is my last year of college, I found out that I didn't have enough financial aid or whatever to finish college. I didn't have enough, so I don't know how I was going to pay for it, because I was relying on the financial aid and the loans that I had taken out to be able to cover me the entire time. But what I didn't know was that when I had studied abroad, that took up my last year, because I was in college for 5 years, and I decided to go study abroad during my 4th year, and I was going to finish the last year when I came back. So I had went on like a 7-day fast. I had told God, I was like, look, I don't have anything left. I don't want to smoke anymore. I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship that I was in anymore. I don't know what my life is like. I don't know what I'm here to do.
What do you want from me?
I have nothing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and this sounds so terrible now, but like I think it was very powerful in the moment when I was like, guys, you got 7 days. You got 7 days to make this work or whatever, and I'm going to commit to you 100%. Remember I said I'm not in and out. I'm 100%. So I said I'm going to commit to you 100% for 7 days, and if this don't work, I'm going out there and I'm looking like I don't want to hear nothing about you or anything like that again.
And it doesn't sound, I'm sorry to cut y'all, but it doesn't sound terrible because that's all he asked for you to do, to trust him and get him something.
So I was like giving him demands. I was like, you need to pull through on this.
He said, because he already knew what you was going to say before you said it, but I understand what you're saying.
But now my respect for him is so much higher, you know.
But at the time you said, but what I hear you saying when you said that was like, God, I am begging you at this moment because if you don't save me, I can't. I can't do it. If you don't show me what you've been trying to show me my whole life, if I don't see the fruits of your labor, knowing about that fruit, if I don't see those fruits, those spirits don't come back and get me.
And I'm gonna let them. And that's
because why wouldn't you?
Because that was the part. It's like I was always too afraid to go too deep. But I'm like, now I done experienced and dabbled into a little bit of everything.
Say, you know what I'm saying?
And so I'm like, okay, so
I know I can survive, but how long?
Yeah. So I'm like, this is it. And so I was specifically talking about that I needed the money in order to be able to go to school.
Right.
But he had other plans. When I was in Ghana, I was supposed to only stay for 10 months. I stayed for an extra month because there was this like summit that was going on for a lot of the leaders in the California State University system.
Yeah.
They were coming to Ghana to experience the program.
Really?
To see what was going on. Yeah. And so it was a lot of people. It was like the chancellor of the entire CSU program. There was a person from Student Affairs who was there. Then there were other like faculty and staff members who decided that they wanted to come. And so being that I had like the greatest time there, I enjoyed Ghana out of everybody in my program the most. And I felt like I really connected with it the most. And so being that I was the one who enjoyed it the most, they asked if there were any volunteers who wanted to stay around and kind of like show them what it was like and kind of like help them essentially. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, I like it here. I don't really want to go back home. Ain't nothing at home for me anyway. So I'll stay.
What were you studying?
An extra month. I was studying political science and African studies.
Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I was just like, I'll stay. I don't really care. I mean, I enjoy being here. I don't really have to think about nothing. I don't really have to worry about nothing. So I'll stay. And I ended up, meeting a lot of people, and they were like really impressed by how much I was able to gain for the program because that's what they wanted for the students in the CSU program. So I had met a lot of people, and so when I had come back and I found out the news of not being able to afford college, my mom was just like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but whoever it is that you met out there that was really impressed by you, send me an email. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know what's gonna happen. Anything like that. And I was just like, what is that gonna do? Like, I don't understand. So I had all of the business cards of people who I had met, and I was trying to find like the perfect person. Because if you're a professor, like what more can you do? You know what I mean? So I'm looking through and I'm like, no, not them. And I didn't know until I looked at the card that I'm literally looking at the CSU Student Affairs person for all of the California State University system.
Wow.
Like, maybe I should just email him. So this is day one of me saying 7 days. I emailed him.
Tell me about it. Come on.
I woke up on day 2 and had every single dime that I needed to continue going. So I'm like,
come on.
All right, thank you.
Come on, miracles.
Lord, I just, but I said 7 days and you did it in 2, so what am I supposed to do with the rest of it? He just worship. So that's what started my journey. And now I'm here. And they're trying to live my life.
Down and up and up.
All right. So that was her testimony. Shout out to young Alesia for giving us that raw entry into just how she was able to transcend into truly being a kingdom woman and giving God her yes. So connect with us in the comments. We pray you enjoyed it and learned something and took something very valuable from that. That's about it. But remember to share this, subscribe, and like. Other than that, love you all. Addy, bye.